So, La Sombra del Águila, the Shadow of the Eagle, I think I pronounced that somewhere in the ballpark. Battle of Medellin, 1809. This is a Spanish wargame magazine game from Alea, number 16. La Revista de Juegos. The game, I definitely like it, but still some things to say about it. Although this is going to be this is going to start very broad, and I'll probably stay broad. So, playing this game got me thinking recently about live games and dead games, referring here, not surprisingly, to the referring live dead to the community interest and activity, which to a large extent is online these days. I would not say exclusively online, but to a large degree online. So, what does that mean? That means a live game has, regularly updated online debate or discussion. Rules are debated. AARs are made and distributed. Not to mention simply new titles coming out. Now, I'm not saying that the Shadow of the Eagle is done. I suppose a new title could come out, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to, I went online and I found essentially and effectively it's a dead game as far as I can tell. There's no up-to-date discussion. I'll actually look to see if I can even find Spanish online discussion of the game, because at least then I will use Google Translate to try to access that discussion. I would like that, but I'm assuming there's not even that. I mean, I'm assuming that there's just no activity going on with this. So effectively a dead game. And I was thinking how many of the games I've been playing are dead. Whether a game is alive or dead, I've never used that as a criteria for whether I would play it. But maybe in the near future I will use that as a criteria to, get some more enjoyment out of playing a game that both looks interesting and is still alive. It's just the ongoing discussion, at least the discussion that parallels a game or game series, it just makes it so much more enjoyable. It's still enjoyable to play a dead game like Medellin 1809 here, but I feel like I'm hitting a wall. There are a few unclear points in the rules. I will probably just shelve my interpretations of those rules, but for use later. But I would rather have more to go on than, I'd rather have more to go on. I feel like there's a kind of a pretty noticeable drop off in, I guess my own interest level. that's not to say that I really, really do not regret playing these games, these dead games. I do not regret playing dead games at all. Of course, they're new for me, but then eventually they're not going to be new for me. And then if they're dead, then it's kind of like, where do you go? And there are ways to go, but it's not, the ways to go are not like easier. Well, they're not. Well, yeah, they take some work. So, like, here's even Medellin 1809. Well, where do I go? Well, write up my own variant. Add some rules. Is house ruling, I guess, is what it's called. But yeah, there's not a lot of motivation for that. Yeah. Now, dead games. Another related thing that I was thinking about recently, and I actually pulled up a little bit of information. I don't have my computer at hand here, so I'm not going to be doing anything right now. But when I was thinking about dead games, live games, that also made me think about, okay, for an experienced wargamer who was playing all along, in other words, an experienced wargamer, so this game came out in 1993, and as far as I know, as far as I know, this was kind of state-of-the-art, literally state-of-the-art of wargame design around 1990, early 90s. Problem is, I don't really know, but I'm just guessing. If the game was alive and there was online discussion, then that would be one thing. But it's a dead game, so I assume it was state of the art at that time. I like it a lot. Oh yeah, back to what I was saying. So if you were a wargamer, an old-time wargamer playing all along, so you played started in the maybe even 60s or 70s or 80s, and you played right through this time, you played through 1993, you played through the games of this era when they were current history. Today you might look back and say, oh yeah, this design's dated. It's dated for this reason and that reason and this reason and that reason. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm trying to think, okay, how much does that matter to me? Not really much. And that made me think, okay, so then I was thinking, if this game came out today, first, what would people think of it? Now, of course, the obvious answer is, if this game came out today, people would say, oh, that looks exactly like a war game from the early 90s, which would be, I guess, perfectly accurate, response. But I also mean, how would the game be received? How well would the game be received? How would the game be received? I wonder. And then I thought, this game didn't break any records when it came out, and certainly has never since. But I was thinking about the game I looked up. Well, so I looked up Dean Essig's designs, and then I looked up. I looked up Dean Essig's designs, and I looked for the first full, concrete, recognizable boxed war game from Dean Essig, and I think it was 1988. And it was the Antietam Civil War Brigade series. So was it in Quiet Fields, or this is why I should have had the computer handy, but the in Quiet Fields, whatever. The first Civil War Brigade series game, 1988. And the reason why I looked this up is because I was looking at, or no, I wasn't looking, I noticed when I was looking at some up-to-date, like recent commentary of people, of war gamers, their comments on the Civil War Brigade series. I mean, there were some pretty flat-out, categorical praise. The Civil War Brigade series is the only series that accurately portrays Civil War battle at that scale. Another person saying, hands down, the best Civil War battle games ever. So, I mean, it's very clear-cut, categorical praise today for the Civil War Brigade series. But then I was thinking, if the first game in the series, which even I was surprised it went back to 88, in 1988, so if that game had come out today, how would that game be received? And my point about that, and let's not say that Dean Essig is the same designer he is today. Let's say that, unknown designer comes out with that first Civil War Brigade series title that was published in 1988, comes out today. How would it be received? And I have to wonder whether it would really be received well at all. I wonder whether it would not be seen as tedious, as too complicated, as no fun. Yeah, pretty much all these things. It's interesting because I don't think that it would be considered especially dated. I don't think it would come in, but I'm thinking more along the lines of, well, basically, this comes from thinking, where are the really complicated? So I was thinking, where are the really complicated games today? And I was thinking, well, we have them, but how many of the really complicated games, complex games, I have no problem saying that, no problem using that word, where are the complex games today? It's interesting because complicated and complex have slightly different meanings, but where are they today? And I'm thinking, okay, we have them, but how many of those are series games? How many of those are games that are resting on a series name, a series design, or a well-known designer? How many fresh games from unknown or little-known designers are coming out that can really be called complex? Yeah, I wonder. And then that brings me back to Medellin 1809 here. I just like it. I like it a lot. It has a, 2 separate player turns. I don't miss, alternating formation activation. Here I just don't miss it. Not looking for chit pull, not looking for card play, not looking for all this other stuff. I'm not looking for streamlined. The fire combat has a firepower column table format, which is fine. Column or odds columns for close combat, no problem. Different morale grades, which have a real significant impact. Incremental strength loss. Yeah, this is coming back to, I'm circling all the way back to where I started with this game, actually, in the video. This game has just enough of the things that I'm looking for to make it overall, certainly a worthwhile gaming experience. All these things. Distinct orders that are meaningful. Meaningful orders means a few things, but one of the things I want to point out is the orders actually have a fairly significant impact on gameplay, like you cannot move forces that you want to move, or you have to move forces that you don't want to move. That's it, without any exception. I'm not sure what I mean by that, but I felt the orders having a real impact here. Again, incremental strength loss, etc., etc. Yeah, it has just enough of all those things I'm looking for. It's funny how I did not miss the terrain. Normally I do like nice, rich, complex, complicated terrain. This is very basic, and it's interesting how I didn't miss that at all. Wonder what that means. I don't know. All right, that's enough for now on this until I pick up play again.